What is up, everybody? This is Anthony. Let me turn this down a little bit. What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. What is going on? It is 12:30, half past noon, I guess you could call it. It's April 13th, and this is VR 365 Live. And we're up to episode 150. Can you believe that? I remember when we were just a baby boy, and now we are 150 years old. Things have really changed a lot. No, actually, our episodes numbers explode on an incredible basis because we are a daily show. And so the episodes just keep stacking upon episode, upon episode, upon episode, and our numbers get higher and higher and higher. All right, so today we've got a number of things to talk about today. Obviously, I did get to play Ghost Giant. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to. I wanted to sink like a solid 3 or 4 hours of gameplay time into Ghost Giant, and I didn't end up having the time to do that. I had some other things that I had to do. I did play Ghost Giant, and I will have my thoughts on Ghost Giant. Is Ghost Giant a top 5 PlayStation VR game? Is this a major, major deal? Or is it just a really good game? Or is it mediocre? I don't know. We're going to find out pretty soon, at least my first impressions on Ghost Giant. Also, Vader Immortal. No sound, huh? No sound? It's showing sound is okay, so maybe that might be your computer or something like that. But basically, Vader Immortal, I wanted to talk a little bit about yesterday's rant. Was it a little bit out of control? Yes, it was. It was absolutely out of control. And honestly, looking back upon that rant today, knowing some of the things that I've come to understand after I did the rant, it was a bit overblown. Absolutely, 100% overblown. I wanted to talk about that really quick. Also, some other stuff that we're going to have today is Sariento VR on PlayStation VR. We got some news for that. And also Tested recently did a video about Dr. Gordbort's, the multiplayer version of Dr. Gordbort's that was demonstrated at GDC. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We've also got a brand new trailer for a brand new PSVR game that is going to be coming in the not too distant future. It is called Hell Split Arena from, let's see, what's the name of this dev? Deep Type Games. Yeah, we all want deep type games. And then last but not least, the Freemasons. The Freemasons are in the VR gaming news because guess what, guys? The Freemasons are making your Oculus Touch controllers. Yeah, who would have thunk it? The Freemasons. They've got a lot of spare time on their hands, so they're making Oculus Touch controllers. So we're going to have all these topics on today's episode of VR 365 live. But you know what? We got to start it off with Vader Immortal. We got to start things off with Vader Immortal, and I got to kind of talk a little bit about that rant yesterday. Maybe was a little bit out of whack with that rant. Maybe was a little bit crazy with that rant. But let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. Okay, number one, I went overboard. Straight up. I absolutely did. I absolutely went overboard. And I accept that. You know, I went overboard. Okay, number 2, I do accept full responsibility for the fact that I was unaware of what Vader Immortal really is. Like, I was unaware. Like, I thought, and I accept full responsibility for that. I mean, this show is called VR 365, for Christ's sakes, right? I should know about these things. I should have a deep, intimate knowledge of all of these things. And I didn't know, apparently I didn't know what Vader Immortal was. And I take full responsibility for that. I was way more hyped about Vader Immortal than I probably should have been. And I accept full responsibility for that. Okay, another thing that I'll say is Ninja Theory. So I had heard at some point that Ninja Theory, the developer of Senua's Sacrifice, the developer of Dext, the developer of, a really good developer, like Ninja Theory, one of the best developers out there. Now, I knew ILM X Lab was working on this, but I had heard that Ninja Theory was working on it. And I think hearing about Ninja Theory working on it, I think that made me think that this was more of a game and a bigger thing than I thought it was. And so that kind of threw me off a little bit. So, those are some of my thoughts. But let's back it up real quick. Okay, so in terms of accepting full responsibility and what I didn't understand about Vader Immortal. Okay, so number one, I didn't know that this was going to be a 45-minute deal. I did expect it to be short. In fact, I expect the vast majority of Oculus Quest software, especially the launch software and immediately following launch, I expect most of it to be on the shorter side. I really do. And so if somebody had asked me a month ago about Vader Immortal and said, hey, Anthony, how long do you think Vader Immortal is going to be? I would have probably guessed 2 hours. Like a 2 hour, 2.5 hour experience, a relatively short thing. I would not have guessed 45 minutes. And I take full and total responsibility for not understanding that this was even briefer than I thought it was going to be. Is briefer a word? Probably not. But yeah, I did not expect it to be 45 minutes. That caught me off guard. Okay, number two, I did hear that this was going to be a cinematic thing, and I knew that ILM X Labs was working on it, and I heard that Ninja Theory was helping them out. But I got to admit, I thought this was a video game. Like, I thought this was a full-blown video game. I knew it was going to be very cinematic, but I didn't know that it was mostly cinematic with maybe a small number of interactive video gamey type elements sprinkled in within this 45-minute experience. Mostly a cinematic experience, but some interactivity, some gameplay that is sprinkled throughout, but more cinematic than anything. I didn't know that so much, probably as much as I should have done. Okay, now, do I have an explanation for why I didn't know this? Well, when Vader Immortal was first announced, we didn't get much information. We got the teasiest of teaser trailers, and there wasn't that much information right away. We just knew Vader Immortal was coming to the Oculus Rift, and that was the gist of what we really knew at the very beginning. And then I think some more information came out, and maybe I missed the second wave of information that came out. So I didn't know, like I knew this was an episodic thing. I knew it was episodes. It was called episode 1. I knew that. I didn't know there were 3 episodes. I didn't know there were 45 minutes each. And part of this could be that if you were on a lot of like Star Wars websites, they know everything about this stuff, man. Like the hardcore Star Wars fan sites, they figure out every little thing. I mean, they have people that make their living off discovering every little Star Wars secret that exists. I don't go to any of those websites. I'm not a hardcore Star Wars dude, so I didn't hear about any of this stuff. Maybe had I gone to those websites, I would have known all of that. But anyway, the bottom line here, and also a lot of people like saw my rant and still started saying, you're crazy to not think this should come to the Oculus Rift. What do you mean? Like, you think it should have only been like, did you listen to the entire rant? Like, did you actually listen to the entire rant? Because the point that I was trying to make yesterday is not that it's a bad thing that it's coming to Rift. That's not a bad thing. Of course it's coming to the Rift. The number one, this is the point I was trying to make, is this is how I think everything should have unfurled. Okay, so on April 30th, the Oculus Quest is released. On April 30th, Vader Immortal Episode 1 is released. Okay, just imagine this scenario with me for a second. Okay, no one knows anything about an Oculus Rift version of this game. And the Oculus Quest comes out on April 30th. Vader Immortal comes out on April 30th. And Vader Immortal, it's a 45-minute thing. You know, it's not as big of a deal as maybe we thought it was, but it's still a Star Wars thing. It's still pretty good. And as far as we know, it's only on the Oculus Quest. So my thought process was, for the entire month of May, the entire month of June, the entire month of July, the entire month of August, and most of the month of September, Vader Immortal would be known as an Oculus Quest exclusive. And there would be hype around that. There would be hype around the fact that if you want to play Vader Immortal, you got to get an Oculus Quest. Now, this would have been in May, June, July, August, and most of September. Okay, so imagine this scenario playing itself out. Then imagine you're in relatively late September, and all of a sudden a trailer comes out. Oh my God, Vader Immortal is coming to the Oculus Rift this November. Awesome, yay! Vader Immortal coming to the Oculus Rift this November. You find out about that in late September. Okay, that's how it should have been done. That's the argument I'm making. That's how it should have been done. And don't act like this is something that doesn't happen in video games all the effing time. Just look at all the PlayStation VR games that come out and then 45 days later, bam, or 2 months later or 3 months later, they hit PC VR, but you didn't know about it. You didn't know about it until the last second. For example, when Moss came to PlayStation VR, it hit PC VR really close. Like, it was on PC VR a couple months later, but no one knew about it. Nobody knew about it until the last minute. And so when Moss first hit PlayStation VR, it was a big deal. It was a big deal on PlayStation VR. It was a big exclusive for like 60 days. It didn't last very long, but it was a big exclusive for a little window of time. That's what Oculus blew yesterday. That's how they screwed up. Of course it's going to come to the Rift. Duh. I mean, like, duh on a frickin' stick. Duh with a capital D-U-H. Duh, 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 duh. Of course it's going to come to the Oculus Rift. Anybody and their brother's mom would know about that. Absolutely, it's coming to the Rift. No, it's not a forever exclusive on the Quest. I understand all of that, but it was poorly done. This timing was poorly done. All of May, all of June, all of July, all of August, most of the first half of September, Vader Immortal could have been a really big thing on the Oculus Quest, but now it's not. It's not a big thing at all. They just popped a lot of the air out of the balloon. Now, I will concede the fact that maybe this isn't that big of a deal any goddamn way, because it's only 45 minutes. It's not even a full-fledged video game. It's mostly cinematic. So maybe all of this is water under the bridge. And I'll agree with you. Yeah, it's probably all water under the bridge and it's not that big of a deal anyway. But the entire point I was trying to make is not, don't ever bring Vader Immortal to Rift. I wasn't saying that. No, I was saying freaking use some marketing tactics, goddammit. Like, take advantage of the situation. When are we going to play Vader Immortal on the Rift? November? So why announce it now? What are they gaining by announcing it now? Are they going to lead people away from the Valve Index because there might be a little 45-minute sequence they can play on an Oculus Rift S? Is that what they're gaining? What are they gaining? But they're losing much more than they're gaining, in my opinion, because the Quest had a jewel, the Quest had a beautiful little thing, and now it doesn't have it anymore because nobody gives an F. So anyway, that's the rant. That's the rant. Oh, and the last thing I'll say about it, this is the last thing I'll say. This show is entertainment. You might not be entertained by it, but the idea behind this show is entertainment. So am I gonna act kind of crazy and do some crazy stuff and maybe get a bit overboard? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. This is entertainment. File this show under the entertainment category. Okay, so this is entertainment. So anyway, that's I just wanted to give some feedback because a lot of people were kind of all over the map with that video yesterday, and I just wanted to kind of react to that. So anyway, that's that. We can now move on. Okay, so the next story I wanted to get into today is, let's go to our Webby browser, and this is related to Road to VR. Okay, and this is really quick, not a big deal here. Let's go to the web browser here and Road to VR. So one of the things I wanted to say really quick about the Acer Concept D is, yeah, this was that prototype that was at the January CES. I was not high. I was perfectly sober. And yes, this is the prototype. So Road to VR, you go to this new article, and it says right here, a prototype OHO headset, which we spotted at CES earlier this year, shared the same resolution as the Concept D OHO announced today. So it is the same thing. I just wanted to point that out. That, you know, we talked about this a long time ago. Everybody forgot about it. I didn't forget about it. Now, they changed the look of it. As you can see, this front part became white, and they went with the Stormtrooper concept. The Stormtroopers on Hoth, and they put a little 4K thing right there on the side. And it looks kind of cool and everything, but that is the prototype. That's what they were talking about. Road to VR saw that way back in January. This is not a brand new thing, and I just wanted to mention that really quick. Okay, so now that we've taken care of both of those things, what I wanted to do now is I want to talk a little bit about Ghost Giant. So let me go back here. Let me go ahead and grab a Ghost Giant trailer, and we can talk a little bit about Ghost Giant. And so Ghost Giant, you know, I was really excited to get into Ghost Giant yesterday. Like I said at the top of the show, unfortunately, okay, let me find the damn Ghost Giant trailer now. Hold on a second here. Normally I should have probably had these lined up prior to starting the show. That would have been a good idea. Ghost Giant. Oh, now I'm not seeing it. Must have moved it, so hold on a sec. VR 365. Yeah, so here we are. Where is Ghost Giant? So, I mean, one of the things that we found out, now I'm not finding Ghost Giant anywhere. What the heck did I do with Ghost Giant? Okay, hold on a sec. I'll just do a search in my folder. Ghost Giant, because I know I've got a trailer for Ghost Giant. Didn't delete the trailer, did I? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, put it in the right folder, and then we'll go ahead and have that, and we'll be able to work with that. Okay, now let's go back over here, and let's grab Ghost Giant. Okay, here we go. Ghost Giant. Finally got it. Okay, so anyways, yesterday, one of the things that we found out, it was all over the VR websites, and it was really big in the PlayStation VR subreddit, was Ghost Giant. The reviews were really good. Like Upload VR, 9 out of 10. Basically saying one of the best PSVR games they've ever played, ranting and raving about it. Push Square gave it a 9 out of 10 and also was saying it's almost like a damn near masterpiece and stuff. And so we heard a lot of this stuff yesterday. I played this game at GDC. I liked what I played of it, but I didn't necessarily think like, oh my God, this is like the second coming. This is way better than Moss, way better than Astrobot. This is the best PlayStation VR game ever. I didn't really know anything about that. And so I was seeing all these reviews and hearing all this information about it. And I'm like, oh, wow, is it really that good? Awesome. I can't wait to get into it. And so yesterday I did jump into Ghost Giant. I've played, I think, the first 4 or 5 levels of the game. Right now I'm actually stuck in one of the levels, and I haven't been able to get past it. So I think I'm in level 5 of the game, either level 4 or level 5, and I'm stuck on a puzzle and I can't get past it. And so what are my thoughts as far into the game that I'm in it? And it's a great game. I'm really liking Ghost Giant. However, like the number one thing that I would say based on what I've played so far is people need to back up a little bit off of this like best PlayStation VR game ever stuff. Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Is it kind of adorable in certain ways? Yes. Does it have a cool story and it's almost like an interactive cartoon that you're taking a part in? Yes, it is. And it does some really cool things. The visuals are really nice. The world is kind of wrapping around you and you're looking down at stuff. And then they do some very clever things, like Zoink Games does some really inventive and interesting stuff because you're basically working with this little guy, Lewis. So there's this little character, Lewis, that is running around, and then you're this giant ghost and you're helping him out. And one of the cool things is Lewis will go inside different people's little houses and stuff. And when he goes inside the little house, now you can't see him anymore. And you can't see the conversation that's going on with the other character that's in the house. But what Zoink Games does is they put these levers. There's like these little boxes, these little rectangle things that open up, and a lever pops out. And what you do is you physically grab the lever with your ghost giant hand and you pull it open like that. And then the house that Lewis just went into goes zzz, and it you know, it turns all the way around and you're seen inside the house. And then Lewis is talking to the other character that's in the house, and everything around the house kind of darkens. You're like in a bustling city kind of, with all different little things are going on. Cars are driving by. There's other little characters that are talking, moving around, walking around. Things are happening. But when Lewis goes inside the house and you pull that lever and it goes zzz, and the house turns around and it opens up, everything darkens on the outside. And all the little characters and all the little noises of the city, that all gets very quiet. And then what happens? So it's kind of like a play. It's like a diorama, and it's like a play. This, like, if you've ever gone to like some plays and, you know, like the local school or the community center or whatever, and they have various plays, this game has a lot in common with that, because there's little, just the way the diorama works. And when you go into these different conversations and you're going into a house, it kind of like, you're in that house and everything darkens and it like the lights zoom in on it and it brightens up and you hear the audio. And they did a really good job of that. So I think what's going on here, the people that are ranting and raving about this game, and they're kind of saying like this is like a watershed moment in VR gaming, I think what's happening here is those people are really, really, really into story. Like, they're really into the story aspect of games. And they're also very impressed with the fact that they're touching subjects that maybe are not not the typical subjects that you would cover in an actual game. Now, I don't know, I haven't played the entire thing, and I don't know everything about the story, but I believe, basically what I'll say is I think there's something going on with this kid and with his home situation, like his home life situation, because all the characters that he's interacting with, they're asking him about his mom, and he's like, oh yeah, my mom's fine, she's blah blah blah. There's definitely something going on, right? And I haven't gotten to the part where they reveal all of that, but it's touching on topics that you normally don't get in a video game, and it's very story based. And it is kind of adorable. And the world, like, see, the magical thing about this game is it does have this magical world that's taking place. And it's all kind of like paper mache or paper craft. Like, even the clouds, like, you're looking around, you know, you have these big ghost hands. And they do a really good job with the ghost hands that they give you in this game. You're looking at your ghost hands and they really look good. I mean, really clear, really clean and crisp. And they're kind of transparent and translucent. And you're moving them around, and you basically have two primary actions in this game. You can poke at stuff and you can grab stuff. So it's pretty much poke. You can poke things and you can grab things. That's pretty much what you're doing for most of the gameplay. And then there's a lot of little puzzles. Now, some of these little puzzles, though, are very arbitrary in terms of how you got to solve one of these puzzles. Like, for example, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there was one puzzle where I basically had to tickle Lewis, okay? And so Lewis is that little character there, and you have to tickle him at one point. And so I'm tickling him, and he's giggling, he's laughing, I'm tickling him, and I tickled him for a little while, and then I stopped. And I was like, okay, that didn't do anything, so I guess the tickling thing wasn't it. And then so I started exploring all these other things, like what do I need to do? I'm stuck. The story isn't moving on. It's obviously waiting for me to do something. I tickled him, he laughed, but that didn't do anything. And so I'm looking around at other stuff in the world. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do I got to do? Then finally, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go back and tickle him again. And so I started tickling him and tickling him and tickling him and tickling him and tickling him. And then finally, what needed to happen happened. And I was like, that's weird that I had to like tickle him for like 2 minutes for it to trigger what needed to happen to happen. So there's going to be some people that are going to play this game and they're not going to be happy because they're going to be like, you know what? It's got a lot of arbitrary little puzzles that you're like waiting for it to trigger something. And if you don't, like, it may seem super obvious, and when you solve the puzzle, it seems incredibly obvious, but in the meanwhile, you might be a bit frustrated. So I just want to point that out to people, that there is that aspect of it as well. But it's a beautiful, wonderful world that has been crafted here. If you really loved Moss, this is probably a little bit more comparable to Moss than Astrobot, I would certainly say. It's a little more Moss in its stylings, and it definitely is very similar to Moss from the aspect where the world is going to kind of wrap around you. So you're going to play this game seated in a chair. You're going to have your 2 move controllers, so you have your actual individual hands that you're moving around. And you're basically going to be pointing at things, grabbing things. Sometimes you're going to be hitting buttons, and sometimes you're going to be grabbing levers and pulling it. And then the world is going to kind of wrap around you. And you do have snap turning that you can activate, so you can go snap, snap, and to look at the different areas, and sometimes you're looking all around you. But one of the cool things I like is just the world in general. There's a lot of little things that are going on in this world. You want to poke at things, you want to grab things, you want to pull things, because you're going to find like bushes and stuff. Like you want to grab a bush and shake a bush because something might pop out of the bush. There's a lot of little treasures and treats that are hidden throughout this game. And the story is the biggest aspect of it. And so people that are really into stories, and maybe even more so emotional stories, I think those are the people that are going to be ranting and raving and saying this is like one of the 5 best PlayStation VR games ever. I would not put it into that category. I would say it's a very good game. We've got a very solid, I don't know what the price is. Is it $20, $25? If this is $20, most PlayStation VR gamers probably should grab this, and you'll probably have some fun with it. There's still going to be some people that aren't happy with it and are like, this is way overrated, brah. I don't know why people are so into this, but I liked it. It is good. I definitely got to play it very much more. Somebody in chat, I think, said it's only a couple of hours. I think Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis, I guess, played it and said it was a couple of hours or something like that. So I probably should be able to finish it. I'm on like level 4 or 5, and so there's probably not that many different levels. So I'll probably be able to finish this in the near future, and maybe I'll have, like, maybe the story will make me cry. You know, I'm kind of a sentimental guy. I will watch movies and I'll cry. I mean, not like boo-hoo-hoo, but like a freaking tear will run down my face. That will happen. I'm kind of a sentimental type. So maybe I'll cry. Like maybe this game will start waterworks. Maybe I just haven't gotten to that part of the story yet. So, you know, I'll probably report more on that. So that is Ghost Giant. It is coming this Tuesday. Zoink Games is obviously very confident about this game because they were willing to have the embargo expire way ahead of when the game's coming out, and they probably knew that they freaking nailed it. And they're getting great reviews. And I have nothing, there's nothing bad for me to say about it other than the arbitrary puzzles. There's also a shimmering look. Like the world looks very good. The graphics are very good, but if you look off into the distance, it does have the Drive Club effect in the distance layer, very Vaseline-y. And then even in the foreground, like there's a lot of little houses and stuff. It's kind of French. It's like you're in Paris, or like not Paris, but it's like you're in France or something. Everything kind of has a certain kind of architecture to it. And it kind of has this whimsical, kind of cartoony, kind of Ratatouille almost, kind of a look about the world and everything. And you'll see a lot of shimmering on like the rooftops and the signs and like the edges of things, a lot of shimmering. So if you're a hardcore graphics whore, you might find some stuff to notice that makes you think, this isn't the greatest, this isn't the greatest game. But I still think it has a really good look, looks really sweet. Okay, so Sariento VR is in the news for PlayStation VR, but not necessarily for the kind of reasons that we would like it to be in the news. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Sariento VR PlayStation VR trailer up here on the screen. And so basically, the last that we had heard from Mixed Realms about the PlayStation VR version of Sariento VR is, I believe they were targeting May 3rd. I think they had targeted May 3rd as the release date. And I think if you went to VR Game Rankings right now and you went to like the top 40 most wanted PlayStation VR games, you probably would see May 3rd as the release date, because I'm pretty sure that was the last thing that we heard from these guys. Okay, well, it's not going to make May 3rd. So that was the announcement that came out. But some people on the PSVR subreddit are a little bit upset in regards to how the developer of this game like keeps changing the date and keeps giving dates and then not meeting those dates. And so what we can do here, let's go to our Webby browser and let's actually go to the PlayStation VR subreddit. And so here was the update. This is 1 day ago. Sariento PSVR launch date update. Hey guys, we've got some updates for you. Until our last minute message a few weeks ago, we were hopeful that we could meet the early May release for Sariento PSVR. Unfortunately, we think we'll have to push it back a month later. And I guess, like before I came to this and saw this, they made a new date. They made a new date like June something, like early June or whatever. They created a new date. And then a lot of people that were responding to this, like this person right here, Let's Play PSVR, says, sorry to hear about delays, but unless you can 100% confirm the new date, I don't think you should get people's hopes up by revealing new release dates. Take your time and release a product you are happy with. Good luck. And the developer responded and said thank you and agreed. Date taken out. Yeah, see, they've been giving people these dates and they keep missing the dates over and over and over again. And after a while, it starts to get tired. You know what I mean? And so, like, one of the people out here mentioned, somebody mentioned, you've given us 6 different, okay, this guy right here, I think, Mighty Boosh X. He says, honestly, feel free to keep communicating your progress and all, but I'd say just stop giving us dates. It's been delayed like 5 times. So at this point, just tell me when it's done. I don't mind waiting, but I do mind being told to expect something and then having it not happen over and over again. I'll still happily buy your game. It looks fantastic, but I'm pretty frustrated with how this has gone down. So, it ended up being kind of a bad look, unfortunately, for Mixed Realms. And you got to be careful with this. Like, everybody needs to be careful. Like, if you're a developer, honestly, give yourself an extra 3 months. Like this is my recommendation. We've talked about this when it comes to Area of Darkness Sentinel, which is a PC VR game, looks kind of Tomb Raider-esque, looks pretty cool. They've had to delay their game a couple of times. And one of the things I mentioned is, like, don't tell people you're delaying it 1 month. Tell them it's coming out in the summer. Give yourself a couple of extra months. And if you finish it and it's completely done, then you can update people and say, hey, good news, we're coming out even earlier than we thought. It's much better to do that than it is to say, okay, we're delaying 1 month. Okay, we're delaying 1 month. Okay, we're delaying 1 month. People don't like that because people start planning for something. People start setting money aside for something. People start budgeting for something. It's a much better idea to just say, you know what? This is a late third quarter game, or this is late summer. Give yourself some time. I think that's a better way to do it. So at this point in time, Mixed Realms is like, yeah, okay, no more dates. We're going to be working on this. So probably like a summer game coming to PlayStation VR. Remember, this game has also been confirmed for the Oculus Quest, and they continue to update this game on PC VR as well. This is one of Arrowin X's, Justin. We had him on the show just a couple days ago, and I unfortunately completely forgot to talk to him about this because he's put hours upon hours into this game. Got really, really good at this game. But they might be stretched thin a little bit. They're trying to bring it to the Quest. They're trying to bring it to PlayStation VR. They're updating the PC VR version as well. But it's a great game. A lot of people swear by Sariento VR. I've played it. It's cool. It's kind of super hot meets raw data a little bit. It's a cool game. I like it. I wasn't as blown away as like a lot of other people, but I didn't pour the time that you probably need to pour into it. Sometimes some of these games, you don't see the beauty immediately, but you start to see the beauty the more you play it. So that is Sariento VR. It will be coming to PlayStation VR. Okay, one of the topics that we get into on pretty much a daily basis here is the daily deal. But you know what? There has not been a daily... I don't know what happened to the daily deal. Does anybody else know what happened to the Oculus daily deal? Because this is their experiences page, and usually like right here or right here... Well, no, usually it's in the middle. Usually in the middle, or sometimes it's over here, it would be the daily deal. And one of the daily deals that they've had recently was From Other Suns. But if I click on this, that's the standard price. It's $40. I think this was going for $20. But yeah, if we go to Rift, this is the front page. This is, oculus.com/experiences/Rift. This is the front page. I'm not seeing a daily deal. So I guess there's no daily deal, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Maybe guys, there's some changes that are going on behind the scenes, and maybe we're going to get all of the Quest stuff is going to start to go. Maybe there's some changes going on the back end, and that's why we're not seeing a daily deal. But it's actually been a couple of days, I think, since we've saw a daily deal. Just wanted to report on that really quick. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about is Magic Leap 1. And I know this is your absolute favorite subject to get into on this show. You guys love Magic Leap 1, and you really wish I would talk more and more and more about Magic Leap 1. And I don't really want to talk about it, but god damn it, you guys love it. So I guess I got to talk about Magic Leap 1. No, but seriously, the reason Magic Leap 1 is in the news is because Tested has a new video that came out. Tested Projections, one of my favorite kind of video podcasts that's out there about VR. If you guys don't know about Tested, in fact, why don't we go check it out real quick? Okay, so hold on. Let's go to the Webby browser. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about here, just so you know. So we'll do a quick little search, YouTube, and let's go Tested Projections. Tested Projections. Okay, so yeah, you guys should find this show. Tested Projections, Adam Savage Tested. So you click on this, and then you go to videos. Click on videos, and here it is. This is the video that is recently came out, hands-on with Magic Leap multiplayer Gourd Battle. Okay, so there's this multiplayer experience. We go hands-on with Weta Game Shop's Gourd Battle, a Magic Leap tech demo showcasing the potential of augmented reality multiplayer experiences. And Jeremy Williams, it was hands down the best thing we played at this year's Game Developer Conference. Everything they played at the Game Developers Conference, really Jeremy Williams, because Norm I don't think was there. Norm had to go do something else. But of everything they played, Jeremy Williams was blown away by this multiplayer experience. And so what I did was I downloaded this video, I watched the entire thing, and I grabbed just a couple of clips that I wanted to highlight, and then we could talk about it real quick. It's interesting, some of the stuff that was talked about on this. I'm going to bounce back over here to just upload VR. So let's go back to our standard scene, and I got a clip for you. Let's check out our first clip from Tested. I'm going to pump the volume up on Sariento VR, and we're going to check out this Tested clip.
Now, how does my headset detect the other controller and the other headset when it's across the room?
I was equally curious about this because my experience so far tells me that you need to have some visual indicator for your headset to discern, to see something else in 3D.
IR lights, and QR codes,
my understanding is their solution is more of each headset is just sharing world data with each other in a networked fashion. So that while each headset knows where it is in 3D space, they're able to communicate with other headsets and share where each other is in the same 3D space.
As long as the 3D space is mapped in the same way. Everyone
exactly
knows the floors where the floor is, that wall is there,
so
this table
who knows
is
what
here.
kind of setup process is required for this kind of thing? It might be very controlled. And we were in a living room, a mock living room setup that I'm sure was purpose-built very specifically for this experience. I don't know how easy it is to replicate this in your own home environment.
Okay, so that is the first clip that I have from. Well, I only have 2 clips, so I'm not spending a lot of time on this. This isn't like a major thing that I want to get into here. But the thing that is interesting, they are having this multiplayer experience, and when you watch this video, you can see these people that are having this experience. They're like ducking around, they're walking around furniture environment. They have wireless stuff on. There's no wires. You know, they got the Magic Pack that's on their hip. They got the headset on their head. They're all holding the controllers, and they're walking around, and they're smiling, and they're laughing, and they're having a wonderful time. Like, if you watch this entire video, you're going to see a lot of clips of these people playing it in this room and dodging and laughing and just having a merry old time. And like this clip right here, like, you know, you can see them talking around, and they're like talking and stuff. And not so much this clip, but there's another one where they're kind of ducking and dodging and hiding behind furniture and stuff. And one of the questions that they ask here is how are these Magic Leaps doing it? Like, how are they knowing? Like this clip here, you know, they're kind of like dancing around these obstructions that are placed in the room and smiling and doing that stuff. But the question that Norm has is, how are they doing this? How are they understanding each other? How are they knowing that that headset is there? Is there some kind of IR code? Is there some kind of LED lights on the other headsets, and the Magic Leaps notice the other Magic Leap headsets, and that's how they're able to track other people's heads, and they're able to track other people's controllers? How exactly does that work? And what we found out here is that the Magic Leap 1 headsets wirelessly communicate with the other Magic Leap 1 headsets, and they basically share the room mapping information in that shared experience. And so that's how they know exactly where the other headset is, exactly where the other gun is. And that's how this experience kind of comes together in a magical way. Now, I wanted to bring this up not from a Magic Leap standpoint. Like, who really cares about Magic Leap? It costs $2,400, right, to buy a Magic Leap 1. And who the hell is going to get 4 people in the same room that have all spent $2,400 on a Magic Leap 1? Like, the only way this thing is ever going to happen is at like Magic Leap headquarters or GDC or a special trade show like this. Like, where are you ever going to find 4 people that have Magic Leap 1 and get them all into the same shared space. Now, maybe 10, 15 years from now, this will be a commonplace thing. But I'm bringing this up because what's stopping the Oculus Quest from doing this exact same thing? And I've argued this before. I've talked about this before. Like, I've gotten up on my high horse, I've gotten up on my podium, and I've said, wait a minute here. Why don't the Oculus Quests communicate with each other? Like, I really think that an Oculus Quest, like, if, for example, okay, so I got this big space right here. Now, why can't there be 2 quests in this room, and why can't they know that there's 2 quests in this room? So if you're playing a co-op game, remember that co-op game from Electronic Arts that it was Army of 2, right? I think it's called Army of 2. Okay, let me show you guys what it looks like here. There's a co-op game called Army of 2, and this is something that could be done in real life. Army of 2, Electronic Arts, I believe. Electronic Arts, Army of 2. Yeah, so images, let's see here. Okay, Army of 2, and I'm not seeing the image that I want really, but basically this game, Army of 2, one of the things that they had is like the other dude's back is right up against your back, you know, and so like you've got your guns out here like this, and the other dude is right behind you, and he has his guns, and so it's kind of like, you know, you're kind of like, you know, and he's doing the same thing, and he's right behind you. Like, why can't we do that in VR with an Oculus Quest? Technically, what's stopping that from happening? Okay, maybe it's processing power. We got Left E007 says maybe processing power. Maybe it can work in a hospital. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that, sure, the Magic Leap, yeah, it's ridiculous to think that you could get 4 of those into the same room with the cost and everything, but Oculus Quest is $400, and we should have co-op experiences with the Oculus Quest, and they should wirelessly communicate back to each other. I think the way it should work for an Oculus Quest is one person, the primary person, sets up the guardian boundaries. You know, they set up the guardian boundaries, right? And then the other person like goes into their quest and goes into like the wireless mode, the communication mode, and it says, would you like to join this other player's guardian setup as a co-op experience? And you say yes, and then bam, now they have the guardian boundaries and they're included. And so you could be in VR and you could see your buddy right there. You could play Hover Junkers. You know, Hover Junkers on the Oculus Quest. Stress level 0. Boneworks. The circle is complete. No, but what I mean though, seriously, is why can't we have shared experiences co-op? Shared experiences. What about Beat Saber, dude? Think how game-changing Beat Saber would be. Imagine if you were playing Beat Saber right next to your buddy. I mean, not right next to him, but like in the same larger living room space. You're playing Beat Saber, you know, you're hitting all the freaking boxes and all of that, and they're standing right next to you, and it's like a battle. It's like a battle. And if you do really good, it does other things on their little Beat Saber track, and you make it harder for them. And so you got 2 people doing it side by side. They're both playing VR. You turn and look at them, and you see like a cartoon head and like an inverse kinematic body for them. Like, is this like next level shit? Because I don't think it is next level shit. I think this is shit that should be in the Oculus Quest right here and now. Now, maybe I will concede the fact, maybe this is a hardware limitation. Maybe the processor is not that powerful on the Oculus Quest to be able to do all that kind of shit. Maybe the battery would drain in 20 minutes if you tried to do all that stuff. I understand that all of these are factors, but we need to start looking into this, man. We need to start looking into this, because I'm going to go off on a little rant for a second here. There's going to be people that get an Oculus Quest. The Oculus Quest is almost like a video game console, right? It's almost like a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. It's like a console. And so people are going to be attracted to this that were never attracted to VR, but they're going to be attracted to this because it's almost like a video game console. And they're going to get one, and they're going to be playing it at home, and they're going to be using it, and they're going to think, wait a minute, why can't I play with my buddy right here? Like, why can't we do co-op? Like why can't I be playing co-op with my buddy right here? Like, why not? And you know what? I'm glad they're going to be asking those questions, because Oculus Quest 2 better have that shit. It really should. Like, this isn't like science fiction type stuff. This is kind of simple. Like, I'm legitimately surprised that they don't communicate with each other. And people will argue it and they'll say, well, nobody has that big enough space. No, people do have big enough spaces. You find a big space. You go somewhere and find a big space. Just like we talked about with some of the Oculus Quest room scale stuff that is going to happen, you know, with Exorcist VR. The Exorcist is going to do some bigger room scale stuff. If you have enough space, you could do it. And then also, what was it? Dead Secret Circle. We just talked about that the other day. You saw the developer walking through multiple rooms of his house playing Dead Secret Circle. People will find the space. You might not have the space in your apartment, but maybe you go to your mom's house and they got a big room there, and you do it there. We need to start doing this stuff. We can't just say, oh, it's too hard. People don't have space for that. No, we got to start solving these problems now, because there's going to be some people that come to VR and they're going to expect that VR should be a little bit more advanced than it is. I think we're almost going too damn slow here. Like, these things need to happen. Like, the Oculus Quest is not $2,000. It's $399. You could conceivably have a buddy that has an Oculus Quest, and you should be able to do Army of Two. You should be able to do competitive Beat Saber side by side. I think you should be able to do these things. I don't think I'm like crazy for thinking that you should be able to do these things. But anyway, it was something that, like, that's what I thought about when I watched this little segment. Not even about Magic Leap. I wasn't even thinking about that. But I do have one more clip. I have another clip for tested, one more. So I'm going to go ahead and pump the volume up on this one, and we'll see clip number 2.
Kind of thing.
Okay,
it
let's
might
see
be
clip
very
number 2.
controlled. We were in a living room, a mock living room setup that I'm sure was purpose built very specifically for this experience. I don't know how.
Okay, let's check out clip number 2 here.
But the promise is immense. I mean, it was so fun to play with other people in the living room environment. As you shoot the other characters, their cartoon heads, their eyes get wide. And I didn't even mention to you that the eye tracking is in there. So they've put to use their eye tracking technology, which so far has only been really to focus, to activate the 2 focal planes that the Magic Leap apparently uses. Now, that's reflected in your avatar. So where you look, your avatar looks. And when you blink one eye, the avatar blinks one eye. So they come to life in a way that we can't even get in virtual reality yet.
Yeah, we can't. Why? Why can't we? Because we can do this, man. We can do AR stuff in virtual reality right now. But why aren't we doing it? I think we're like, okay, I know. All in good time. It's all going to happen. Chill out, relax. There's going to be an Oculus Quest 2. There's going to be an Oculus Quest 3. But anyway, in this particular clip, what Jeremy Williams was talking about, and this is really cool. Like, you'll see some of the pictures of this have kind of simulated what it looks like. So when you're dodging around these tables, you see heads like that, and the heads are perfectly mapped. And this is why Jeremy Williams was talking about how this was the most impressive experience he had at the entire GDC. And it's not so much because you're seeing, you know, it's a Dr. Gorbort's thing. It's because it's mapping ahead on the other people. And Jeremy Williams was mentioning that the heads are not bouncing around. You know, the head isn't 4 inches off kilter. that the heads are solid. They're on there. It's working great. And so you're in this multiplayer, you're in this shared multiplayer experience. You see the guns, and he's talking about how like the eyes are bulging out. The eye tracking is working. The eyes are moving around. They're looking at stuff. You get shot and the eyes go, or the heads act weird, or all kinds of weird little things happen. And my thing again, this is something like, why couldn't the Oculus Quest do this? Like, I think the Oculus Quest could do this. Now, again, it may be a technological thing, but look at that HTC Vive Pro that's sitting on that table right there. It's got 2 little cameras on the front. What's up with this whole AR thing? Why can't we bring AR into VR? Why can't we take advantage of AR in VR? Sure, we don't have $4,000 or $3,000 to be buying these advanced AR products right now that aren't even that advanced, but what we do, we could throw AR into VR for way the hell cheaper. And I'm hoping maybe Valve steps up to the plate with the Valve Index, because the Valve Index does have those 2 little cameras that are at the bottom there, and I really feel like those are pass-through. And maybe Valve, you know what we've never considered, guys, about the internal Valve games? What if Valve has a game that is really AR more than it is VR? Valve might have a freaking AR game that works with their headset. And, you know, it's the Valve Index, but it's like an AR game with those pass-through cameras. Maybe Valve is stepping up to the plate and doing some interesting stuff here. But I liked what they did at the very end, putting these heads on people. And I think, you know, again, Oculus Quest 2, my biggest hope, honestly, is that people that work at Oculus, I hope they got this demo. I hope they got this demo, and I hope they kind of got slapped in their face a little bit, like, why aren't we thinking of this stuff? Like, why couldn't the Oculus Quest do this stuff right now? Now, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to wait for the Oculus Quest 2. But this is not science fiction. Like, this is not like in some far-flung universe. This is stuff that could be done. So anyway, just wanted to comment on that. That is the projections clip. Okay, let's see. What else did we want to get into here? Well, you know, we could talk about the Freemasons, right? Yeah, let's talk about the Freemasons, everybody. So let's see. Let's go back here to the Webinol browser. And where's our Freemason story? So let's see. Let's go to Road to VR. Let's go to Road to VR, and let's see, up here, Road to VR. Okay, and so here it is. Oculus Quest and Rift S controllers could hide an unintended Easter egg message. Now, we heard about this yesterday, and basically there's some Oculus employees that are kind of screwing around, and they're putting little messages in there. Like, basically, so apparently, here's what Nate Mitchell had to say about this. I'm going to go ahead and read right off of this article here. So make sure to check out Road to VR on a regular basis. We do like Road to VR. We like Ben Lang. We like the people over there. Nate Mitchell, Oculus co-founder and head of VR product at Facebook, revealed that a number of touch controllers for Quest and Rift S hold an unintended hidden message, something he calls inappropriate. Although Mitchell admits in a tweet that hidden messages made them to what he calls tens of thousands of internal developer units. Really? They have tens of thousands internal developer units? An unspecified number of production controllers are already on their way to retail. Dude, think how valuable these controllers are going to be if you've got some of the right messages on there. But anyway, these controllers are headed to retail that are going to include hidden messages that say, "This space for rent." The Masons were here. I love that. The Masons were here. How freaking awesome is that? Some of them are going to have hidden messages that say, "Big Brother is watching," or "Hi, iFixit." You know, because iFixit does the teardowns, of course. You know, they get into these headsets. Now, the thing is, these hidden messages are like on ribbon cables and shit that are like inside the controllers. So good luck finding it. It's not like it's on the outside of it and you see like in very fine print that it says freaking the devil or something. You know, it has some hidden message. So we've got hidden messages. The Masons are here. The Masons were here. This space for rent. Big Brother is watching. Hi, I fix it. You gotta love it. How funny is that? I really love the Masons were here. I really love that. That is awesome. At the bottom here, it says, as far as hidden messages go, they all seem fairly innocuous, although even in jest, hinting at the possibility that Facebook is actively watching your every move like Big Brother, or has anything to do with the Freemasons, a group often cited in conspiracy theories, probably isn't a good look for the company. You think it might not be a good look. I love me some conspiracy theories. You guys already know that. And yeah, I like watching some of these like weird documentaries about the Freemasons and UFOs and all kinds of crazy shit, conspiracy theory stuff. I love the fact that they have a little hidden message that says the Freemasons were here. That is hilarious. And Big Brother. Big Brother is watching you. You know, I don't think they're hinting in jest about the possibility. I think they're trying to let us know, bro, we're on the inside. Big Brother is watching your ass. And this kind of goes back to what I said yesterday. Like, give up privacy. It does not exist. You do not live in a world with privacy, okay? If you could time travel back to 1960, you probably could get some good privacy there. But here in the year 2019, if you're in a civilized area, forget about privacy. It ain't gonna happen. Move to Siberia, build yourself a log cabin, and don't include any electronical devices of any kind, and basically live like the freaking, what are those people that live in like, where is it? The, God, what are they called? They have the beards and everything. You pretty much have to live like that because that's the only way you're actually going to have privacy. So, you know, the Freemasons are out to get your ass. Understand that. Okay, so we did have that. Yeah, Freemasons are building Oculus Touch controllers. That is awesome. Okay, I do have a trailer to run for a brand new VR game that is going to be coming from developer Deep Type Games. It is called Hell Split Arena. So why don't we go ahead and check this trailer out real quick. So we're going to bounce back over to our standard scene here. I'm going to pump the volume up on this projections clip.
Immense. I mean, it was so fun to play with other people in the living room environment. As you shoot the other characters, they're
All right, well, that is Hell Split Arena, and this is a brand new game. It is coming in the year 2019, and decapitation aplenty. That seems to be the hot thing in PCVR. Kind of reminds me a little bit, like I'm watching this trailer here, and I gotta say, there's a lot of similarities between this and like Blade and Sorcery. You know, you kind of get a Blade and Sorcery vibe from this. I think I also get a little bit of an Undead Citadel vibe from this a little bit, and also a Soulscape vibe, which all of these are upcoming VR games that are coming at some point in time. And it does look like this is, well, you know, it's called Hellsplit Arena. So it looks like it's kind of an arena combat game. So it seems to be more of kind of a one-on-one sword fighting, battling deal here. One of the things that I wonder about this is, are you going to actually be battling other people, like one-on-one in VR, almost like playing Creed or something, like multiplayer Creed? So like, could this other person I'm fighting be main fan, and you're kind of having a battle one-on-one with somebody else? That's a possibility. Or are we looking at AI characters here? Probably both, I'd have to imagine. Not sure if there's any kind of story that's going to come along with this game, or it's mostly just kind of arena fighting in VR. It's certainly the physics are going to be kind of a make or break thing. How good are the physics? How good is the sword combat? There's a lot of sword combat that is coming to VR. So the bottom line is, eventually one of these developers is going to really nail the sword combat that works out really good. And then from that point forward, hopefully all other developers could learn from that, and we're going to finally get to a certain level where we have really good sword combat in our games. And so, yeah, so anyway, that is Hellsplit Arena. Does look pretty decent. Of course, you know, when it comes to these trailers, it's so hard. It's so hard to make judgment about these trailers because we just don't know. They got a little bit of a comedy factor there as well. The banana pills are in the building, and you can bash it. Looks like, you know, some environmental damage is going on. You can grab their heads and smash them into the stone pillars. You can knock them into the fireplace. You got some different backgrounds that are going on as well. Looks like we got some battle axes and some other things. So, you know, looks pretty good. Also reminds me a little bit of Asgard's Wrath as well. So we've got a lot of games: Asgard's Wrath, Undead Citadel, Blade and Sorcery, Soulscape, even Rogan, Thief in the Castle, and this one, Hellsplit Arena, all kind of having a similar design aesthetic. So, you know, all these games are going to be going head to head. I haven't heard anything from Deep Type Games. I don't know if they're a brand new developer, but we'll keep our eye on that one. So it does look kind of cool. Okay, well, you know what? That's pretty much what I got for you guys today on this Saturday show. And so let me go ahead and bow out of here and say goodbye for now. So let me go ahead and throw my little outro background on there. And so basically, yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for today's episode. I would like to ask you, go ahead and hit the like button on your way out. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to our channel, VR365, if you're not already subscribed. Do I rant crazy every once in a while? Sure, I do. But you know what? This is an entertainment program. It's designed to be entertaining. I don't know that I'm always entertaining, but we try to be. And that's kind of the theory here. And so let's see, what else did I want to mention real quick before I bounce out of here? Well, tomorrow we do have a VR Roundtable episode that is going to be coming up tomorrow. So look forward to that. So basically tomorrow around 9 a.m. Pacific time, you want to go to the VR Roundtable YouTube channel, where we will have an episode. We didn't have an episode last week, so there's a lot of extra things to possibly talk about. I can tell you some of the stuff we're going to be talking about on VR Roundtable tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Ghost Giant. I got to get back into it today and play some more Ghost Giant. We're probably going to talk about Vacation Simulator. We've all been playing that. We all have Falcon Age, so we might be talking about Falcon Age as well. There could be some other stuff we talk about. So, you know, we might be a little bit more heavy on the game discussion, but there's still lots of news and things that are going on. We could talk about the new Acer Concept D headset. Another 2160 by 2160 headset has arrived. Some of the people on the show might have some firsthand experience of Nintendo Labo VR, so we might be talking about that as well. So it's probably going to be a pretty good VR Roundtable episode tomorrow, so be sure to tune into that around 9 a.m. Pacific or so. And then, of course, following that, Sunday Fun Day. The Sunday Fun Day episode, and I might try to have a special guest on tomorrow because I don't know that I'm going to have a lot of... It's really good to have a special guest on a Sunday because I'm busy early in the day doing the VR Roundtable episode and I don't have much time to prepare. And if I have a special guest on, we can just, shoot the breeze basically, right? And it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So I might try to have a special guest on tomorrow. So I'll have to see if I can wrangle somebody up for a guest spot on the Sunday Fun Day episode. So I will see everybody then. Probably around 11:30 a.m. roughly will be the episode tomorrow following the VR Roundtable episode, about 15 minutes after that. So that's going to go ahead and do it. So I will see everybody tomorrow on Sunday. So have a wonderful Saturday, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Take it easy. Later.